Hi everyone and welcome to this channel on Narcissism. It's my hope that what you hear here will help you understand these really difficult situations with narcissistic people better and help you cope more effectively with these relationships. And please subscribe if that's helpful for you. So today we not take on something that can be one of the most potent weapons in the narcissist arsenal, their mirror. What is this mirror? Well, it's not a literal mirror, but it's something that they use very intentionally to change your image of yourself. So let's take a look at it. Narcissists do a lot of subtle things that are extremely manipulative and controlling. Some of them are fairly obvious, like gaslighting, stonewalling, flying monkeys, and love bombing. But there are also some much more subtle things that they do that many people aren't even aware of. In fact, they don't even realize it's happening to them until long after the relationship is over. And it's one of the most insidious ways that narcissists exert power. One of those subtle controls that narcissists exert is through what I call the narcissist mirror. You see, each of us have an inner sense of self-image. Now this can be influenced by other people, but ultimately each of us has an inner sense of who we are. This doesn't mean that our sense of self is always accurate or realistic. Narcissistic abuse can distort that self-image and many times for the worse. But nonetheless, when we first enter a relationship with a narcissist, we bring our sense of self with us and we project that out into the world. What the narcissist does is they hold up a mirror and they rewrite who you are and who you can be. They will rewrite who you are and shape-shift it in such a way to suit their needs. Who you are in the narcissist mirror can be both an idealized version of you and at the same time a shamed and diminished version of you. It's really tricky. When someone is narcissistic, they are incredibly superficial and they're looking for supply, validation, and adoration. So the idea is to find someone who they can dominate and control and then write an idealized version of that person onto them. Then they treat that person in accordance with that false narrative that they've created. For example, if they view you as someone who is very pretty, they may shower you with attention and praise in order to keep you compliant and keep you there. That may be a person who comes from a narcissistic family where maybe they were told that they were very pretty growing up and so they look for that trait in their partners. At the same time, though, and this is the tricky part, that same person may also be viewed by the narcissist as someone who is there to meet their needs. The narcissist may need someone who's going to put them on a pedestal and adore them, but they may not actually view you as worthy of being adored themselves. So there's this discrepancy between the fantasy and the reality. In the fantasy, you are an object to be admired and adored, and in the reality you are someone who is there to meet their needs. I'm gonna make this a little bit more concrete with an example. Let's say that you meet someone and you're dating and you're getting to know them. You find out that they're really into fitness. They talk about their workouts all the time. They have pictures of themselves on their social media in workout clothes. It's just clear that fitness is really important to them. And so you start working out again. You want to impress them. You start going to the gym, buying new workout clothes. You post pictures of yourself online in those new workout clothes. And then that person goes radio silent on you. And then eventually they come back around and they talking about how great their trip was that they just got back from. And they tell you all about how they went to this juice bar and how the guy working there was a total stud, had a great body, looked like Thor. And you think to yourself, wait a minute, we were totally crushing it in the gym. I was really putting in the work. Why are they talking to me about this hot guy they saw? And then maybe later on, if you're already in a relationship with them, you find out that they're messaging this guy they were talking about, messaging him on social media. And then you find out that they're going to go see him while they're on their next business trip. And you might start thinking to yourself, wait a minute, why did they only care about the fact that I worked out? Why is it that they didn't seem to care about that at all? Why did they bring up this random hot guy they saw? What was the point of that? It's these kinds of experiences that really leave you feeling confused. The narcissist mirror operates in a way that leaves you feeling less than who you are, even if you don't consciously realize it. You may have started working out because you wanted to impress this person, but you never felt like you were good enough for them. No matter how much you worked out, no matter how fit you got, it was never enough. And instead, they would always find a new thing to focus on. And that is what the narcissist mirror does. It's funny, one of the reasons why I thought of that example was because I actually experienced it myself with a narcissistic partner. And it wasn't until well after that relationship was over that I realized what had happened. The narcissist mirror distorts your sense of self in a way that you may not even notice until you are no longer in that situation. And by that time, you may have bought into the distorted version of yourself that the narcissist created. Think about it. If the narcissist constantly tells you that you're too emotional or sensitive, you may end up believing that about yourself. If they consistently tell you that you're needy, you may come to believe that about yourself. They may tell you that you're lazy or unproductive or disorganized. Over time, that may become your sense of self. You may actually think of yourself as being disorganized, even if before you entered that relationship, you weren't. Now, in some cases, it can go in the opposite direction. A narcissist may call you clingy or needy or overly sensitive, but at the same time, they may also accuse you of being distant and aloof. This may be especially true of an avoidant narcissist. They may accuse you of being too needy and attached, but then also accuse you of being too distant. Again, it depends on the type of narcissist that you're dealing with. This distortion can also be seen in the narcissist's treatment of you. Think about it. If the narcissist consistently invalidates your feelings, tells you that you're too emotional or too sensitive, you may come to feel like your emotions aren't valid. And if they also accuse you of being too needy, you may feel like your needs aren't valid either. This can lead to you rejecting your own feelings and abandoning your own needs. And the sad thing is, that's exactly what the narcissist wants. If you are able to abandon your needs and reject your feelings, then you become easier to manipulate and control. You become someone who is unlikely to stand up for themselves. And that is what the narcissist mirror is all about, changing your sense of self in a way that makes you more vulnerable to their manipulation. There are two ways that this process works. On the one hand, the narcissist may explicitly tell you things about yourself. They may tell you that you're too sensitive or too needy or too emotional or too lazy. Or on the other hand, the narcissist may implicitly shape this sense of self through their behavior towards you. They may ignore your needs or invalidate your feelings, and then you internalize that and you think, wow, I guess I am too sensitive, or I guess I am too needy, or I guess I am too much. Narcissistic abuse is so damaging precisely because it distorts your sense of self. When you are in a relationship with someone who consistently criticizes you and tells you that you are worthless and that you are not lovable, you may begin to believe that. When you are in a relationship with someone who ignores you and devalues you, you may come to believe that you're not worthy of being valued. And that is the tragedy of narcissistic abuse. It distorts your sense of self and it causes you to reject yourself. The best antidote to the narcissist mirror is to remember that it is just that, a mirror. It's a reflection of their needs and their distortions. It has nothing to do with who you are. You have to remember that you are more than your wounds and that you are more than the narcissist's perception of you. You have to recognize that the narcissist is intentionally trying to change your sense of self to make it easier to manipulate and control you. Once you recognize that, you can start to reclaim your true identity. I hope that helps. Thanks again.